releasing the hamstrings, the hips, the back, all the good stuff. So we're going to start in starting in a child's pose. If you have a block, I recommend that you rest your hands on them, or if your quads are super tight today, you can also put the block between your heels and your glutes. But regardless, just bringing your knees to a comfortable width, letting your hips soften back, and then letting your hands maybe rest on your block, maybe rest on the ground, just putting them somewhere that feels really good. And taking a few deep breaths, filling up your upper back, maybe rocking side to side, rolling your shoulders. Just doing whatever you need to do to let yourself settle. Maybe sealing your mouth, just allowing yourself to breathe in through your nose and out through your nose. Maybe noticing that when you do breathe out, your forehead gets heavy, your arms slowly start to let go. And allowing yourself to become distinctly aware of what it feels like to breathe. Just giving yourself another 2, maybe 3 breaths. Existing. And when you're ready, you can place the block off to the side if you're using one. And start to claw your hands forward, and spreading your fingers so wide that you stretch your palm. And adding a little activity through your arms, maybe squeezing your shoulder blades together and then sliding them off your back. Last breath here. And push down into your hands. Lift yourself up into a tabletop. Back into your child's pose. Your hips to your heels, your forehead to the ground. Keep the activity through your arms though. As you breathe in, we draw up into tabletop. Back into child's pose as you breathe out. We go forward. We go back. Forward last time. And back. Good. Forward to tabletop. Tuck your toes and bring your knees about hip width apart. Looking at your hands, spread your fingers so wide still. And when you're ready, just lift your knees up off the ground. Maybe an inch, maybe 2. And push the ground away from you. Draw your shoulders away from your ears. You're nice and strong. 2 more breaths like this. Keeping your knees floating. As you breathe out, your hips come to your heels. Breathing in, draw yourself forward into a plank. Breathing out, we go back. Hips to your heels, knees float. Forward to plank. One more time, back. And forward. Your hips to the sky, downward dog. Take a few breaths here. Walk your feet out, rock your hips side to side. Just lean into what feels good. Maybe even lifting your heels as high as they can go. Bending your knees to stretch your feet. Again, just kind of explore what it feels like to be upside down right now. Last breath like this. On your inhale, forward to plank. Glide it back, downward dog, breathe out. 2 more rounds like this. Let your spine roll like a wave or a rope. One last time. Your right foot to the sky, lift it up. And step your right foot forward. Pausing in a lunge. Your back knee, your left knee is floating. You can rock forward and back, just kind of soften in to your hips. And eventually, your left knee will touch down. Breathing deeply. And just kind of letting your hip flexors melt a little. Almost like, I don't know, cold honey. As it warms up, it gets a little looser. You can start to maybe move your shoulders around. Maybe moving your head side to side, tucking your chin in. Three more breaths here to just feel what you need to. Good. Both hands on the ground if they're not already there. Lift your back knee up and step back, downward dog. Pedal your feet. Notice any differences between sides. And we'll go left foot to the sky. Step your left foot forward. And just notice that your knee is pretty much on top of your ankle. You can rock forward and back if you want to. Just letting your hip soften through. And eventually, maybe, your right knee touches down. Adding any movements that feel good. Rolling your shoulders, swaying your head. Maybe acknowledging if one side was a little more sticky than the other. 2 more breaths here. Slowly, your hands on the ground. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, and step back. Downward dog. Pedal your feet. Lift your heels and drop them down. Maybe even bend your elbows, just kind of explore what's possible here. Last breath. looking at your toes. Walk your feet to your hands. Pausing in a fold. Just letting your knees bend, maybe a lot, so that your tummy can rest on your thighs. Let your head hang. Always the option to interlace your hands, placing them into the nook of your neck, adding a little bit of traction. But if that's a little bit too intense, that's fine. Just let your fingers dangle or grab onto your elbows instead. Adding a little bit of a sway if that feels good. 2 more breaths here. Your fingers dangle. Roll up halfway, your hands on your thighs along through your spine. And let it go. Fold forward. 2 more like this. Roll up halfway. Slide your shoulder blades back. And let it go. Roll forward. Keeping your knees bent. Last time. Let it go. And step your right foot back. Pause here. Lower your right knee down. Your hands to the sky. Pause. Let your shoulders drop down. Softening into your hip flexors. But if your lower back is pinching, just hinge forward slightly, lowering your chest a little more towards your thigh. Last breath like this. And cactus your elbows. As you breathe in, reach up. Breathing out, we cactus. 1 more like this, reaching up. We cactus. Your hands to the sky. Your hands to the ground on either side of your front foot. And breathing in, look forward. Moving into your half splits, breathing out. Send your hips back. Your left toes face the sky. So your right knee is under your right hip. Your left thumb comes into your left hip crease and push your left hip back. But keep your left toes towards the sky. So there's a little bit of activity there that'll increase the release in the back of your left leg. As you breathe in, lengthen your chest forward, maybe even look forward. Breathing out, your tummy comes more onto your thigh. Just keep breathing deeply here. Lengthening. Hinging forward. 2 more breaths. One last breath. Looking forward, slowly start to claw yourself back into your low lunge position. Pausing with your hips dropped down as low as they can go. And bring both of your hands onto the inside of your left foot. Start to wiggle your left foot off to the side and turn your toes to about 11 o'clock, maybe 10:30. And come onto the outside edge of your left foot. Good. If it feels like you're spraining your own ankle, you probably are. So I recommend coming into more of a dorsiflexion, bringing your toes towards your shins. And then take your left hand, push your left thigh away from you. Leaning your chest back, maybe opening up your chest a little more towards the sky. Maybe looking down. Maybe adding a little bit of a chest release here, allowing your left elbow to come to the sky, looking right, and then looking over your left shoulder, doing that a couple of times. Maybe one more time. Last breath here. And bring your left hand back down onto the ground. Close up your left foot. Tuck your back toes. Lift your back knee and step back into your downward dog. Pedaling your feet out. Once again, dropping your hips left.
dropping your hips right, sending your heels down. Just kind of explore. And on your next breath in, draw yourself forward into a plank. And lower yourself all the way to the floor. Press the tops of your feet onto the ground. Baby cobra, lift your chest. And lower yourself down, breathing out. 2 more like this. Breathe in, lift your heart, shoulders back. Exhale, lower down. Pressing into the tops of your feet, last time. And lower, pushing into your hands, draw yourself back into a child's pose. Your forehead finds the earth, your elbows rest down. And maybe you interlace your hands into the nook of your neck, maybe you don't. Just create a shape where you feel at home. 2 more breaths here. Slowly your hands start to claw forward. Spread your fingers so wide and push down to lift up, tabletop. Just like we did before, child's pose, your hips to your heels. Draw it back. Forward to tabletop. 1 more like this, your hips go back. Forward to tabletop to stay. Pause. And placing your right hand on the ground in line with your face. Bring your left fingertips to your left ear. As you breathe in, your left elbow opens to the sky. Breathing out, elbow to elbow. 2 more like this. Try not to move your hips. One more like this. Pause, elbow to elbow. And sweep your left arm underneath your right, so you make a 90-degree angle. Start to walk your right hand away from you and lower your left shoulder to the floor. Depending on the release that you need, you can have your left pinky on the ground. You can also turn your left palm onto the ground. Two more breaths here. And on your next breath in, bring yourself back up into a tabletop. Pause. Spread your fingers so wide. Tuck your toes and press back. Downward dog. Pedal your feet out. And slowly looking at your toes, walk your feet to your hands. Arrive in a fold. Roll up halfway. Let it go. Two more like this. Let your knees stay bent. Let your head roll at the end of your spine, like a ball on the end of a rope. Last one. Pause here. Plant your hands and step your left foot back. Adjust as needed, maybe wiggling your right foot forward if you need to. Let your left knee lower down. And on your next breath in, your hands come to the sky. Pause here. Maybe looking up, maybe looking down. But let your shoulder blades slide down your back, hinging forward if you need to protect your lower back. And on your next breath in, Reach up through your fingertips. Cactus your elbows, breathe out. 2 more like this, breathe in, reach up. Cactus, breathe out. 1 more time. Feel your shoulder blades slide down. Your hands to the sky. To the earth, bring your hands down. Inhale, look forward. Half splits, slide your hips back, straightening out your right leg. Pushing your right heel into the ground, your right toes face the sky, and your right knee is quite bent. Almost like you're trying to push your butt away from your head. Lengthen your hips back, but extend your chest and your heart forward. Maybe doing that self-adjustment that we did on the other side, taking your right thumb into your hip crease, drawing your right hip back and into the socket. Lengthening, hinging. Two more breaths. Always allowing yourself to move as you need to. On your next breath in, claw yourself forward onto the inside of your right foot. Let your hips pause in your low lunge. And looking at your right foot, walk your right toes forward and away, allowing your toes to point at about 130. And then come onto the outside edge of your right foot. Your left hand can maybe come off to the side, maybe it stays under your shoulder, whatever is best for you. Your right hand maybe onto the inside of your right thigh, pressing, leaning your chest back, maybe rolling it towards the sky, maybe rolling it down, maybe finding that chest release. Your elbow points upwards, maybe looking up, and then slowly rolling yourself towards the left, shoulder checking left. Breathing in, turning right, breathing out, rotating left. Two, maybe even 3 more breaths here. And when you're ready, your hands come down, closing up your right foot. Walk it next to your right hand. Tuck your back toes. Lift your back knee and step back, downward dog. Pedal your feet out. Push your chest maybe towards your thighs. Last breath here. And on your inhale, forward to plank. Lower all the way down, breathe out. Baby cobra, breathe in. Lower down, breathe out. 2 more times. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, lower down. Last one. Slide it back into your child's pose. And let yourself get cozy. Maybe your elbows are on the ground. Maybe your hands sweep behind you this time. Your forearms resting between your calves and your hamstring. 2 more breaths here. And slowly your hands start to claw forward. Stretch your palms, spread your fingers, and press down to lift up. Tabletop. Pause, and walk your left hand in line with your face. Your right fingertips come to your right ear. Breathing in, open to the right. Breathing out, elbow to elbow. 2 more, opening and closing. 1 more time. Pause, and sweep your right arm underneath your left, making that 90-degree angle. Maybe your pinky's on the ground, maybe your palm is on the ground, whatever feels best today. Allowing your left hand to creep forward. Your right shoulder lowers down. Allowing the right side of your head, your face, your cheek, maybe your ear to rest either on the ground or on a block. And as you pause here, maybe noticing if you could change your breath, maybe intentionally breathing more into the upper right side of your back, creating a little bit more of a relief. Two more breaths. Last one. Slowly drawing yourself back up, bringing yourself into a tabletop, pausing here, maybe swaying left and right, but bringing your knees under your hips, your wrists under your shoulders, giving your torso, your spine, as much space as you can. Moving into a few cat-cows, just allowing your belly button to lower down towards the ground, lifting your hips. Draw your shoulders back, and as you breathe in, look up. And breathing out, your spine goes to the sky, your chin to your chest, just like a cat. Inhale, dropping down, looking up. Exhale, roll your spine towards the sky. 2 more like this. One more time. Pausing in neutral. Lengthening where you can. And slowly moving to sit on your heels. You can bring your block with you if you like, maybe tucking your toes, maybe sitting onto the tops of your feet. But if you are using a block or you have a block, just place it between your heels and your glutes. And then sit up nice and tall, allowing your hands to rest on your thighs for a moment. Closing your eyes and see if your shoulders can let go of your ears. Just allowing yourself to observe any areas of tension. Seeing if there's something you can do. A simple switch to find relief. Allowing your spine to lengthen from the back of your neck. your lower ribs, they're drawn in. So your chin moves towards your chest. Slowly rolling your left ear to your left shoulder, stretching the right side of your neck. Pausing here, just rocking your head, maybe drawing your chin down towards your shoulder and then up towards the sky. Lean into what you need. Two more breaths here. And on your exhale, your chin down to your chest. We switch sides. Pausing. Just allowing your head to loll, maybe back and forth. Whatever feels good. Slowly your chin moves towards your chest. Your head rolls back up to neutral. Your chest is open. And remove the block from behind you. If you were tucking your toes, tap the tops of your feet onto the ground. And bring yourself down onto your back. If you have a block, keep it handy. As you roll down onto your back, just notice how you can get your lower back to be supported. The back of your neck. It almost stretches as you tuck your chin. And from here, just bring your right knee in towards your chest, interlacing your hands onto your right shin. Rock your knee side to side. And when you're ready, open your arms up into a T. Your right ankle comes onto your left thigh. And your right knee moves away from you, almost like you're going to come in to thread the needle. If you'd like to go in to thread the needle, you're welcome to. Otherwise, just stay, allowing your knee to slowly release space in your right hip, your lower back. Two more breaths here. And slowly, maybe finding eagle legs, wrapping your right leg around your left. Or you can stack your legs, either way. But moving into your rotation, so tuck your left hip under you, allowing your right hip to stack on top of your left. Again, eagle legs or stack knees. If you have your block, you're welcome to place your block under your right leg. And from here, maybe you stay open, maybe you close, allowing your palms to meet. And moving slowly, allowing your right palm to slide forward, sweeping it above your head, opening maybe into a T, maybe not that far, and closing back up. 2, maybe 3 more. And then allowing yourself to pause wherever you need to, wherever you want to. allowing yourself to adjust, giving your back as much space as you can. And allowing your breath to stay deep. These last 2. Slowly bring yourself back up, your legs back through neutral. Tuck your tailbone in line with the crown of your head. If it feels good to drop your knees left and right, you can. And just bringing your hands back down beside you, just noticing your spine once again supported. Your chin tucked slightly. And moving into the other side, so keeping your right knee bent, bring your left knee in towards your chest, rocking your knees side to side. Allowing your shoulders to stay soft, your head to stay heavy. Just feeling the gradual release in your lower back. And your left ankle will come to your right thigh, your left knee drawing away. Your hands maybe out into a T, just letting them go where they need to for now. Always the option to move into the needle if that feels really good. Or just stay where you are. And you'll know when you're ready. Just allowing yourself to move into your rotation. So either eagle legs or stacking your knees. Lift your hips up, tuck your right hip under you, and allow your legs to drop over towards the right. You have the option to stay with your arms open into a T or slowly close your left palm onto your right. Moving slowly. Your left palm slides forward and sweeps above your head, opening all the way up, maybe into a T, maybe pausing somewhere along the way. Just moving through this range of motion for as long as you want to, as long as it serves you. And letting yourself pause, lingering in the sticky spots. Noticing, observing any differences in the experience, left and right. Giving yourself another 2, maybe 3 breaths. And when you're ready, when you want, you can slowly bring yourself back through neutral. Tucking your tailbone in line with your body. Your hands come down next to you. Just allowing your lower back, your mid back, your upper back to soften through. yourself any last movements, any last adjustments. As you slowly lengthen your body all the way out. So allowing your toes to release your hips. Adjusting your pelvis, your tailbone. Allowing your lower back to be supported. And placing your right hand on your tummy, your left hand over your heart, allowing your breath to be in your hands. Noticing if you could give your heart and your lungs a little more space by rolling your shoulders down. Maybe taking one last deep breath in. And a long breath out. Just allowing all of your muscle to soften. Your bones just float. And I encourage you to stay here with yourself for as long as you need to, as long as you'd like to. When you do decide to get up and to play with our world, please be mindful of others. Respect life and honor yourself with a clear mind and a strong heart. Namaste.